I just got back from the beach with the family. We went to Jacksonville for half a week, and then celebrated the Fourth in Clearwater. Everybody got fried. I didn't drown any of the kids out there, or leave them
Nice.
in Florida. So everybody made it back, but had a good time. Got to decompress, and
Were you tempted to at any point?
there's a couple of times when we're playing in the pool and you dunk them and you hold them under a little bit longer than what they probably would like, but that's parenting in a nutshell.
It's fatherhood.
Yes, I love it.
Well, I have wanted to have you on this podcast for a while just because you're doing such amazing things for Middle Tennessee. But I just want to kind of have you talk about where you started, how all of this Stephen Whitehouse and Friends got started, and where we're at today. So let's talk about how this whole deal began.
Well, it's definitely a lot, and you've probably heard this story several times. But for your listeners, in a nutshell, Stephen Whitehouse and Friends was just kind of a very organic happenstance thing that just came by the will of God is ultimately what it is. But all that being said, is I started a golf scramble back when we were in college. Just an opportunity to get everybody
How
together
long ago was that, Stephen?
that was, oh my gosh,
Carry the
2006. Yeah.
two.
This is our 18th year of this thing. So 2006 was our first year that I did a golf scramble for my birthday. It was always a birthday thing and fellowship, and we had 12 people the first year. I was like, oh, this was fun. Let's do this again, but do it bigger. And then we had 40 the next year, and then we had 50 the next year, and this thing just kind of grew. It was a party of such. It was my birthday and an opportunity for everybody to hang out, like kind of a reunion while everybody was in college. And then
Hmm.
2012, I had a head injury, as a lot of people know, and that really changed the course and brought Stephen Whitehouse and Friends to fruition. After my head injury, felt the pull and the tug from God. It's like, you need to do something different with this. And
Hmm.
it's still a party, but now we party for somebody in need, which is really cool. And we're in our seventh year of being incorporated, and we've
Wow.
raised over $500,000 since our inception, which is absolutely remarkable. I never in a million years would have thought that we'd be making the kind of impact we were, just because, again, it was just something that I did for fun. And honestly, before my head injury, I was kind of over it. It was just a
Hmm.
lot of work. I was doing it by myself. A couple of people would step in and help out, but it was kind of a labor of love. And there were many years where I wasn't going to do it, and then people would be like, "Hey, are you doing your scramble this year?" And I'm like, "I guess." And now it's the thing that brings me the most joy out of my year is this event. So it's a blessing and gives me an opportunity to use my spiritual gifts, to the advantage of others.
It's awesome. What is something that you is like unexpected that you've learned along the way?
Um, how many people love me and will support me, which is pretty humbling that so many people come to celebrate the scramble and to celebrate the beneficiaries. But that too, how many people have such a giving heart and want to make an impact and do something good for others. And
Hmm.
one of my favorite sayings is your network is your net worth, right? And I'm not a rich man, but I am rich in friends that like helping and doing stuff for others. And ultimately, I might be the richest man on the planet, just due to the awesome people that are in my life and just kind of help me in this endeavor, whether if they donate, they play, they sponsor the board, they pray. I don't care what it is. I feel it, and it kind of powers me through the whole thing.
That is amazing. I have never heard that quote. Did you come up with that on your own?
No, it's a common podcast phrase. Your
Of
net worth is
course. You kidding
your
me?
network is your net worth, right? Yeah, and most of the time it's like, oh, you surround yourself around 10 people, and you'll be the average of those 10 people, right? That's
Hmm.
kind of what goes into it too. But yeah, I'm a firm believer in that. whether if it's business, personal life, or whatever. It's blessed me immensely.
I need to pay attention to the tables I'm at, see who's around me a little
Yeah,
more.
start kicking. I know some people you hang out
Oh,
with. You
all
need to
right.
kick a few of those out
Ugh.
of the table.
So in the way that it's benefited so many people, what are like 1 to 2 stories to you in this process so far? And I know there's one coming up this year, but I would say in past events, what are 2 noteworthy like recipients that have really touched your heart?
Yeah, so I'll give you three. The first is a little girl named Bailey that she was our first ever beneficiary whenever we started doing this. This was even before we were incorporated, right? This was a year or two after my head injury, and Bailey was a middle school young lady. I worked with her mom when I worked at Lock and Bar, and she had a brain aneurysm that they didn't know about. And she ultimately the aneurysm ruptured, and she went from being this thriving teenage girl that played sports and just your average teenager, right, into totally incapacitated, had to learn to walk and talk and all the things, right. So she was kind
Mm.
of the first one, and I think we raised $2,700 for her that first year, which in the grand scheme of things
Jeez.
isn't a lot of money, right? But I remember how like happy her mom was when I gave her that check after the scramble, and I was like, okay, this was special. And then what we like to do is have like this macro impact on a micro cause, right? It's we donated a few years to Vanderbilt Children's Hospital, and we donated $5,000 and $7,000, and that's great because they do amazing work there, and a lot of our beneficiaries over the years have been patients at Vanderbilt Children's Hospital. But you don't really get to see the fruits of your donation or what it actually goes to. It just kind of goes into this operating fund that it could pay the light bill, it could do whatever. And Jonathan, one of the board members, Jonathan Drake, we decided like, hey, look, we're going to do something a little bit different, and we're going to go back to kind of what we did with Bailey, and it's really God's divine intervention when it comes to us selecting our beneficiaries. And he
Hmm.
was walking in the neighborhood, and he ran into a family that lived in the same neighborhood as him, and the little girl that was with him is bald as can be, Amelie Marshall. And it just the people God puts people in our path as it pertains to our beneficiaries, and it just hits us like a ton of bricks, right? We pray on this, we talk about this at length as a board, as who we're going to help out this year. And that's probably the toughest part. Putting the golf scramble together is easy. We're experts at this, but it's actually figuring out the cause. And Amelie was one that we were struggling with, and then boom, God just put this little girl on our path, and it's awesome to see how she went from this really dark spot in her life. Now she's a thriving teenage girl, which is really cool. And then sometimes too, there's stuff that's right in front of your nose that,
Hmm.
and I got a big nose, so stuff gets hidden behind it,
Feel that. I feel
Yeah,
that deeply.
you gotta stay strong, Queen. All right. But we a couple of years ago, we again were struggling for a cause, and somebody on the board's like, why don't we do it for Leo Etheridge? And this was a kid that was, I was coaching his sister in softball. I was, went to church with this family, and I'm like, I never really thought about that, but yeah. And you kind of start going down these paths with these families and talking about their needs. And it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how hard this was
Hmm.
on you guys. And that's been the really cool part of it, is just how God has put these people in our path. And it's just, again, like I said, it's divine intervention at the end of the day, and just blessed to be a part of it.
That's amazing. Those are all incredible. And I know this year, golly, dermal, it's coming up in a few weeks, right?
11 days to be exact. We're in the
Who's counting
final.
though? You know?
I'm definitely counting. Yeah, my wife, as I work every night until midnight, a couple hours just trying to finalize things and get everything organized. But again, I enjoy it. It's fun. But this year is a special one, Mindy, because we, as I told you, we've always, I'm not necessarily going to say we struggle to find the beneficiaries, but especially when
Mm.
there's multiple beneficiaries.
Well, I wanted to take a second to say thank you so much for joining us with Stephen Whitehouse today to talk about Stephen Whitehouse and Friends and all the incredible things that they're doing. And we get to hear more from him in just a second. But just wanted to say thank you for listening. And it is just incredible the opportunity to get to talk to you guys on a regular basis and introduce you to people who I've wanted you to know for such a long time. So what you could do is go ahead and subscribe so that you will hear everything coming out, not miss a thing. And I always ask the question, who do you know that I need to know? So if there's somebody that you're like, oh, dang, Mindy needs to talk to this person, please make sure to email me or reach out. I am happy to get that introduction going. And yeah, I look forward to talking to you guys more. So as we get back to the conversation that Steve and I are having, just know that I am so grateful that you're here and look forward to talking to you more. Okay, so we're back, and this will make zero sense to people that are listening to only the audio. But for those that see the video, we look a little different.
We had a wardrobe malfunction. My
We got
top
that.
fell off, so we had to change clothes. And yeah, I hate when that happens.
I know that fresh fit, but we know our video like got cut off. And so I literally, did you go in your mind in the last 2 days? Like, what are we going to do? Like, am I going to wear the same outfit? Do I need to wash it quickly? Did you think about that?
I know I definitely thought about that, and I was like, I don't know. I honestly didn't know what I wore that day. That's how my life goes. I can't tell you what I wore yesterday. Better yet, 2 days ago. So I was like, I'm just gonna wear something SW and Friends again, and we'll be good.
Oh my gosh. Well, I was like, it actually ended at a perfect time because we get to talk about this year, which is like a super fun transition. But this year is unique from other years. Tell me why.
Yeah, so in previous years, we've always kind of centered the golf scramble around just one beneficiary, right? Typically a child or another nonprofit that's just in need, and we've kind of been blessed enough to where we could grow this thing into what it is now. And I was kind of at the point with things this year because every year we get maybe a couple of beneficiaries that kind of fall into our lap, and then we have to make the tough decision of just picking the one, right? And given the beneficiaries that we had this year, I didn't want to pick just one. I was like, if we're going to do it, now's the time to do it. This thing is big enough where we can support 1, 2, 3 people, right? So that's what we're doing this year. We have a little girl from Mount Juliet named Adeline, who's 4 years old, that has cancer. She is the second youngest of 8 kids in her family, so big blended family.
That's a lot of kids.
Yes, a lot of kids. Bless. I tell her mom every time I talk to her, like, bless your heart. Like, I don't know how you do it, but you're managing, and God bless you for it. But she's obviously going through a tough time with her cancer and treatment, so we definitely want to be a blessing to them. And then a supporter of ours, Justin Cagle, turned me on to a little girl out of Lebanon that's in need of a service animal. She has both cerebral palsy and epilepsy. She had a hemispherectomy when she was 4 years old to remove a lobe in her brain to kind of help with her seizures. So she's just had a really tough life, and this has pretty much been since birth for her. And her one dream, for her mom is to get a service dog to kind of help her. And, we believe it's kind of double fold. We'll give her some confidence, obviously, and then just the physical needs, right? That'll be pretty cool to just see her with a pet like that. And then the third beneficiary this year is kind of like our secondary beneficiary. It's a nonprofit called Magnolia Foundation, which is there's a guy named Matt Collins who is a 2008 graduate from Mount Juliet High School that his family went through a terrible tragedy. He lost his 4-year-old daughter in 2020 in the tornadoes in Cookville, just totally took out their house. And unfortunately, they lost their daughter Hattie Joe in the accident, and to memorialize her and to honor her, they created a nonprofit called the Magnolia Foundation that assists families with the unthinkable, families that lose kids due to tragedies or sickness. So from birth to 18 years are the families that they're supporting in Tennessee, and they do that through assisting with funeral expenses. They also help with grief counseling for the families, and then they also do commemorative care. So they'll send, on Mother's Day, they'll send cards to the moms, and Father's Day, and they just kind of keep the memory of that child alive, and just are there to support those families in that time of need, because that's just awful. And Casey Cox and I did a podcast with him on the Encato podcast, and if I could steer people, if you could put that in the show notes, steer them to that. It's just
for sure,
remarkable story. Matt and his wife, I mean, they're doing the Lord's work. He was in ministry, and he quit his job to focus solely on this. This is all he does now. And his strength, his poise, whenever he's talking about it, it's gut wrenching, but it's turned into something beautiful that they're able to help others in such a terrible time of need.
What an incredible organization.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say. It's just, to be in that every day, considering that all the PTSD from them having been in that, it's remarkable. And just speaks volumes about who they are as people, and their love for the Lord and their love for people. So
100%. Well, all those are amazing. How crazy you get to help with just 3 this year.
Yeah.
That's so wild.
It's crazy, helping with one the first time, it was just like, no, this is really cool. It just fills my cup, to be able to hand out 3 checks this year. That's going to be, that's the thing I look forward to most, is like flipping that check around and showing them like, hey, this is what we just raised for you.
The big check.
Yeah. The big check that you take to the big bank. But to be able to do that 3 times this year, it's going to be really, really cool. And, I'm just excited to see how we can bless these families next week during the scramble.
So when this airs, I mean, there's like a week down, right? So tell me what's like, just the details and where to find you, and how people can contribute or be a part at this point.
Yeah, for sure. So first off, we'll be at Hermitage Golf Course on July 19th. We'll be there. I'll be there from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. So I always encourage people, whether you're playing golf or not, like, come out, take in the sights, take in the mariachi band, have lunch with us. We have an awesome silent auction. We have raffles. We just kind of make a day of it, right? So people are more than welcome to come, even if they're not playing. But if they can't make it out, if they're not playing or sponsoring, we do take donations. So if they can go to our website, swandfriends.org. Top right, there's a donate tab. It'll take you to PayPal, and you can make a donation through that. I'll also be running a Facebook fundraiser for my birthday, since this is kind of centered all around my birthday, that people can donate to. And
I wish I had confetti.
Yeah, you could have. Yeah, well, you're playing in the scramble, so you can do that on Friday.
True, I will.
But people can follow us at SWN Friends on Instagram, or they can check us out on Facebook, Stephen Whitehouse and Friends. We got links to our website, and you'll see all the fun stuff that we have going on kind of leading up to the scramble. And then just a caveat, everything that gets donated to on our website from now until the end of the month will go directly to our beneficiaries. So we're a true nonprofit where we don't take any money in. We have very small operating costs. We have insurance, just in case somebody does something stupid. And we have.
I mean, when you have a mariachi band out there, on a golf course, you never know.
The Modelos and mariachi get flowing. People get a little wild, but. So yeah, everything that we bring in, we give back to our beneficiaries. So that's the really cool. We just do this out of the we love doing it, right? We're all servant leaders on the board, and this is kind of what we all aim for every year.
That is awesome, and I'll include everything in the notes for people to find you. But it's been so fun hanging out.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to do it twice this week.
I know.
first world problems with technology, but it's.
You're welcome, everyone that got to see our fit twice.
Yeah, fit twice.
Fit twice.
I still look homeless, so that's not much change.
That's great. Well, have a great day, and I just can't wait. I'll make sure to take some vids while we're out there on the course next week.
No, thanks, Mindy. I appreciate the opportunity to come on and talk to you about this. And, I'm excited to see you, and you're doing great things. So keep up the good work.
Same, buddy.
All right. Talk to you.